I got hit with a shot I just didn't see.
In 2023, for fans of fights, it was quite a year.
I'm still like in shock. The Justin Gaethje head kick knockout.
Yeah.
Of Dustin Poirier. I'm like, oh my God.
Champions would lose, then win, and sometimes disappear.
I know you got a whole year. You got a whole year to work easy.
What was the excuse for the first fight?
What was the excuse for the head kicking up?
When we fight, I knock you out, I'm gonna do a TikTok dash over your grave.
Words spilled out during build-ups.
No man that beats off the cartoons is gonna beat me.
Some people backed them up, but some could not. Those events generated back-to-back pay-per-view millions. But the best rivalries of the year are yet to come.
Some of these kids are in the UFC before you're in the UFC.
I say it respectfully to Stipe. My whole world is going to be focused on him. I'm going to not only beat Stipe Miocic, I'm going to finish Stipe Miocic before the championship rounds.
How much different of a fight will we see from Charles when he faces Islam again?
No crumbs on this performance whatsoever.
We have another exciting rematch that we forgot. Oliveira versus Islam 2. But before anything, let's go back to 2022 and see what happened in their first meeting. At that time, Charles Oliveira was on an undefeated 11-win streak, which was the longest streak in the division at that time. Killers like Michael Chandler, Justin Gaethje, Dustin Poirier, and Tony Ferguson.
I paid my dues. One more mountain to climb for the ultimate view. And baby, destiny doesn't make mistakes. Let's go!
Tasted defeat in front of Oliveira. But there were two guys who believed that all of these things were bullshit.
Charles Oliveira. He's finished 10 out of 11 guys.
All these guys, who? Chandler, Gaethje, Poirier, who?
Dustin Poirier is a black belt. But he is.
I hear like they want to make a big show in Brazil to fight. No problem. Send us location. We're going to come to Brazil. Islam going to ride Charles Oliveira like his horse. We're going to show them if Sambo was easy, it would be called Jiu-Jitsu.
What do you want next?
I just won a title fight.
Habib and his team relentlessly called out Oliveira for the title fight. And Charles Oliveira finally started to act emotional.
Olha só, eu não vou falar que eu vou finalizar ou que eu vou nocautear, eu vou vencer ele. Escuta só, eu vou vencer ele, Makhachev.
Oliveira is a world-class grappler on the ground. He's not afraid to be there.
The way that Charles has been coming for all of his past fights, I think Charles is on his prime now, and it's going to be really hard to stop him.
I would love to see Charles go out there and get the job done.
You try to avoid this fight. How many months? You don't say my name. I never heard you say my name. Omar, maybe someone, but you never say this one.
Finally, the fight day has arrived. Many people bet their houses on Oliveira, and Oliveira promised a first-round knockout. However, what happened was a surprise. Makhachev started to dominate Charles both on the feet and on the ground. In the second round, Charles missed a flying knee. Makhachev countered with a punch, and Oliveira was knocked down. Then, Islam submitted him with an armbar choke. A new lightweight champion was crowned. Oliveira wasn't seeking an immediate rematch, so Islam faced the pound-for-pound king, Alexander Volkanovski, for the #1 rank, while Oliveira decided to take a break.
Oh my God, Brian Ortega and Alexander Volkanovski had one of the craziest title fights I've ever seen in my life. It was wild. Ortega's got his legs crossed, so that kind of guillotine with a guy like that is death. It's death. And that crazy from Australia got out, where 99.99% of the people who have ever lived would have tapped out.
As expected, Islam's next opponent was undefeated Alexander Volkanovski.
Alex is good everywhere, but I have different style.
He's pushing a narrative that there's no wrestling in Australia, that that I won't be able to.
As the world watched, everyone bet on Islam, and Volkanovski's size disadvantage put him back in the underdog spotlight in a dramatic twist of fate. From the opening bell, it was clear that this would be a contest for the ages. Volkanovski, a warrior in every sense, wasn't content to sit back. He launched his attacks with determination, seeking to impose his will upon Makhachev. However, the Russian was a master tactician, but Volkanovski was far above those tactics. He scored punches, takedowns and kicks, and even knockdowns. He defended Dagestani wrestling wonderfully, dominated Makhachev round after round, and managed to show his dominance, even in the last 30 seconds. Everyone thought that a new double champion was born.
Oh my God! He won. Volkanovski is the winner.
Volkanovski is the double champ. 100%.
But something weird happened. Islam won by unanimous decision, and the whole combat world was shocked.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, that's insane.
Oh, really?
That's insane.
God.
He got robbed. He got robbed.
When the judges' scorecards were read aloud, controversy erupted. Many believed that Volkanovski had been unjustly denied victory. One judge in particular scored the fight 49-46 in favor of Makhachev.
You don't give it to Volkanovski. Tell me one fight in history and bring boxing into it. Tell me one time in boxing or MMA history that we haven't screwed the other guy.
UFC legend Nate Diaz did not mince words, declaring that Makhachev had been handed a decision he didn't deserve. ESPN's Lori Horish found the scoring highly questionable, and rapper Lil Wayne openly questioned whether he could continue watching UFC after such a contentious outcome. Anyway, Volkanovski showed the world a never-before-seen weak aspect of Islam. And even now dominating the featherweight division, he maintains the championship status. After a long silence of 8 months, Oliveira came back, just to settle one more question in the lightweight division. Beniel Dariush. Dariush was on an 8-fight win streak. Many concluded that Beniel would be the beginning of Oliveira's downfall.
UFC 289, and oh my God. People's main event, Charles Oliveira, do Bronx. Oh my God.
The intensity escalated quickly as Oliveira landed a decisive head kick in the opening round, sending Dariush to the canvas. Without hesitation, Oliveira capitalized on the opportunity, unleashing a series of punches that sealed the deal with a first-round TKO. This victory halted Dariush's impressive 8-fight winning streak.
Went out there and got back in winning ways in absolute style, as we saw. Clearly dominated Beniel Dariush. I think the next fight that's going to happen is Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira, do Bronx, the rematch, #2 in Abu Dhabi, going down in October.
Charles versus Islam Makhachev 2 in Abu Dhabi a year later. We got to remember though, it's not like Islam just took Charles down and he dropped him. He dropped him, passed his guard, and choked him. There was a very dominant performance for Islam. So
That's
Charles,
levels.
For Charles to come, he seems fired up, motivated, ready to go. Islam's coming off a very controversial win over Alexander Volkanovski. Charles coming off a dominating win over Beniel Dariush. Very interesting fight. That's what I want to see next at 55.
As expected, Dana White announced a blockbuster rematch between Makhachev and Oliveira. Following his fight with Volkanovski, Makhachev seemed to have lost some of his previous strength, and his mentor was noticeably absent. Oliveira, however,
The champion is the name, the Charles Oliveira, brother.
appeared hungrier than ever, aiming to regain his lost title. Additionally, the co-main event featuring Khamzat against Paulo Costa had generated considerable excitement due to their simmering bad blood between them.
Paulo, you dead, man. Now you're coming to my country. Muslims, brother, they're coming for you. Allahu Akbar.
What the Khamzat is in Dubai right now in war mode. That guy, I guarantee that guy doesn't f around when he's in training. Scary. He's an animal. But so is Paulo Costa. And two hate each other, so Costa's motivated. You got to remember that Paulo Costa, that guy walked down Yoel Romero.
With these two intriguing fights on the horizon, and the personal animosity between Chimaev and Costa adding to the mix, fans were eagerly awaiting the action-packed night ahead.